Okay, this is my opinion on the top 5 worst killer perks in the game. The 5th worst killer perk in the game, I would have to say, is Territorial Imperative. The reason that I say... Well, let me just read what it says first. Unlocks potential on one's aura reading ability. Survivors' auras are revealed to you for 3 seconds when they enter the basement, and you are more than 32 meters away from the basement entrance. Territorial Imperative can only be triggered once every 30 seconds. Now, the reason that I say this one is one of the worst killer perks in the game is because generally in a normal match, people are just not going to be going down into the basement to begin with, unless if you have somebody hooked in the basement and then you leave the basement entrance for it has to be 32 meters. If you were to go that far away from the basement and somebody is going down in the basement, chances are they're going to be able to rescue that person anyway. So it doesn't really serve a real useful purpose. The 4th one that I would say is Monstrous Shrine. It says, your fervent care of the hooks found in the basement have aroused the entity's interest. The basement hooks are granted the following bonuses. 9% faster entity progression, 15% increased difficulty on escape attempts, 9% increased penalty to escape fails. Now, the biggest thing about this perk is that it only applies to the basement hooks. So if you're not hooking somebody in the basement, this perk serves no purpose at all. Now, they will die faster in the basement if they're on the hook for long enough for this to take effect. So in other words, if they're only on the hook for long enough before they transition into the struggling phase, this perk is not going to do anything because you're still going to have to hook them again to at least one more time to kill them, and then again if they would get rescued again after that. So chances are, even if you get somebody in the basement to use this perk, if they still get rescued before they transition into the next hook phase, this perk serves no purpose even then. Alright, the next one I would say is Insidious. Unlocks the stealth ability. By standing still for 2 seconds, you reduce your terror radius to 0 meters and become stealthy until you move or act again. Okay, now, there's few killers in the game that are good at camping. And even if you're going to use this perk with one of the camping killers, it's not going to be worth it because there's other perks that you could use to cancel out Insidious, such as if you were to use Monitor and Abuse with Michael Myers, or let's say it wouldn't serve any purpose using it with the pig because it would already have a terror radius of 0. There's not really any killer that you're going to be able to use Insidious with that's going to be worth it. Well, I don't want to say anyone, but it's the only purpose to using Insidious is if you want to camp the hook, and generally there's other ways of doing that without using Insidious. And if you're going to use Insidious for that, it's generally not going to be worth it. The next one I would say is Beast of Prey. Now, what it says is it's a Huntress perk. That's the second Huntress perk. The other one was also Territorial Imperative, which was a Huntress perk. Beast of Prey. Your lust for a kill is so intense that your connection with the entity is momentarily lost, making you totally unpredictable. The red stain disappears for 25 seconds when Bloodlust activates. Beast of Prey has a cooldown of 120 seconds. Okay, so basically what this perk does is when you're chasing somebody in... The red stain disappears for 20... Okay, so only when you're in a chase with a survivor, the red stain, for the killer's red stain, will only disappear after Bloodlust activates, and it will only disappear for 25 seconds, and then after it disappears, it has a cooldown of 120 seconds. So, generally, when somebody is running away from you, if they're not going to be looking at the killer while they're getting chased, you're going to end up hitting them anyway, because they're not going to be trying to dodge your attacks. But if it's somebody who is looking at the killer while they're getting chased, the red stain is not gonna make a difference. They're gonna try to dodge your attack regardless because they're gonna be watching you. And the last one is, what was the last one here? Oh, Surveillance was the last one, yeah. Now, this is a pig perk. Unlocks potential on one's aura reading ability. The last 3 regressing generators' auras are indicated in white to you for 16 seconds. Basically, what this perk does is when you're playing as the killer and you hit the generator to stop it, to decrease the progression of the generator, it will remain in a white, it will have a white aura that you can see. And then either when 16 seconds pass or when somebody starts working on it, that white aura will go away. But it's only for 16 seconds. So if you were to hit a generator and then walk away, and if no one was to touch that generator within 16 seconds, this perk serves no purpose to you. And the chance of somebody touching that generator within 16 seconds of you leaving that generator is very small, because when you hit a generator, or let's say that somebody was working on the generator and you went up to the generator that they were working on and you hit them, they're going to run away. Almost always they're not going to go back to that same generator and continue and start working on it again within 16 seconds. So it's almost impossible for this perk to serve any purpose whatsoever. Alright, that was my opinion on the top 5 worst killer perks in the game. Thanks for watching.